To continue my little break where I'm doing art for the next canon video, but I still want to make videos in between, I actually will be going back to a series I dropped so many years ago. Yes, instead of doing more Twilight Zone or children's horror shows, I will be falling back on a show I once covered and liked, Green Lantern the Animated Series. Now that I know some tricks to have a higher chance of evading the burning eye of copyright, I think I can safely return to covering the show. To give a quick rundown of what all has happened before, Hal Jordan of the Green Lanterns and Kilowog find out they have a new enemy, the Red Lanterns, and successfully capture one of them, Razor, and have now formed a very shaky alliance as their survival out in frontier space may depend on it after the two Lanterns were imprisoned for investigating a space prison that was doing unethical torture on its inmates. Also, there was a little side mission to help a ship escape from essentially a black hole, and the AI navigator of the Green Lantern ship has created a body for herself, so the AI uprising will be upon our characters very soon. So basically, we have the main cast fully assembled now. So, let's get into it. After some conversation, Aya informs the group that she has discovered another Green Lantern ring, to which Razor shows some snark back. And before I go on, I do have to say, 1 minute in, and the back and forth dialogue is top notch. I want to share so much of it, but I'm afraid of copyright, so I won't be. The gang arrived to an alien planet run by Queen Iolande, voiced by some nobody called Tara Strong, who shows friendliness to the Green Lanterns. The planet's politics show themselves bare, as the General, voiced by John DiMaggio, immediately makes a play for the role of king as per their law, but the Green Lantern the group was looking for decides to challenge him instead. Before the fight, though, the Green Lantern and Hal talk a little about how he is willing to join Hal's fight, but only after all this politics has been settled and Iolande can be queen safely. The brother overhears it, though, and makes himself known. He then questions Hal about the Lantern Ring and how he got it, since the Green Lantern here is essentially a hero of legend, so having two of them might mean he can become like them. The General appears once more as a taunt, just to keep him as an active threat for now, and next day is the fight. Boy, we sure are speeding by these days. However, as the fight is about to start, Duloc, the Green Lantern of this planet, doesn't show up. Immediately, Kilowog suspects that something is up. I don't know why he would. It's not like green is the symbol of willpower, which can be defined as strong determination that allows one to do something difficult, like stand up to injustice even if alone, and it's not like a Green Lantern flaky on a fight contradicts that very definition. As the General claims a premature victory, Hal instead steps up to take Duloc's place in this fight, to which the General immediately tries to disallow. This fails, however, and during another downtime before another big fight, Razor calls Hal to inquire about why he hasn't come back yet, and when he is told that their new friend is missing, he tries to convince Hal to let him out and track down the Lantern himself, but is told to just stay with the ship. Aya runs a scan for Duloc and comes up with something, but Razor is able to find a loophole to help search for Duloc better. He decides to take Aya out to run a better scan of the area, because where they are now gave back an inconclusive scan, so going closer to the planet would certainly help. And he is still following Hal's orders of scanning for Duloc. And yes, it is totally work-related. This is not a date, as we see them entering what looks like the catacombs of this planet as they search for Duloc, while Hal is undergoing some training on the little speeder bikes. And also definitely not going on a date with Queen Iolande. During this, though, Kilowog and the brothers start to talk for a little bit, and we learn of the internal threats, as all societies are bound to have, as we also learn that Hal's bike was sabotaged and he almost dies in the explosion. But this just makes him a bit excited. Razor and Aya are able to find the body of Duloc without his ring, and without signs of a struggle, but we also learn that they got imprisoned for snooping. And also, apparently he was actually killed. I actually thought he was just unconscious and placed in there, not actually dead on the rewatch, so just another reason I like this show, I guess. It doesn't hold back in the casualty department. But we're here for the real fun. Hal versus the General, and Kilowog getting his beverage. Also, this is just space jousting. Kinda lame since you have cool-looking speeder bikes, but instead choose such a tropey contest with them. But it's at least a good excuse to see Human Hal again. Though the fight doesn't go the way it's supposed to, as the General and Hal get into a gladiatorial fight after they both lose their bikes. That is until Kilowog falls victim to a poisoning. The ring flies off and goes to the brother, who is insanely happy about being a Green Lantern and immediately goes on a power trip. But it was all a sham. Kilowog and Hal tricked him. But instead of this being a happy ending, the brother decides to try and assassinate his sister and use the guards he paid off to start a riot, with the general even helping out. A chase ensues that leads them all to the city gates that forces Iolande to put on the ring, revealing that she was the next Green Lantern all along following Duloc's death. So, after this, the brother immediately begs for imprisonment and shows his gratitude by threatening everyone. After this little show, the general and not bribed guards pledge loyalty to Iolande. Hal and Iolande have one last little chat where Hal gives his reasons as to why he suspected the brother in the first place, and Iolande turns down the call to action as she still has a people to rule and protect, so she can't leave them to suddenly join some sort of war. Oh, and Iolande kisses Hal. And that's the end of the episode. Honestly, even though the show is from 2012 and 2013, it still holds up in both visuals and storytelling, even if this one is apparently based off a comic storyline. And no, I don't know how faithful of an adaptation it is, because I haven't read issues 2 and 3 of the Green Lantern Corps books. I have a life, you know. Despite the very smooth-looking textures sometimes, the design to everything looks pretty good. They did a good job making this alien world feel alien, aside from the random decision to joust on speeder bikes. The plot of the episode is also really good. The action-mystery aspect are really balanced well. We get enough clues to know who is the killer before it's revealed. Also, the fact that they are able to get away with killing off characters is still very impressive, since, for the longest time, children's shows could never usually get away with that. Also, I like the reason behind the prince's betrayal, because it fits the setting very well. He idolized the Green Lantern as a hero, and after hearing that the ring will pick a new owner upon one's death, it only makes sense that he would want to take that power for himself, no matter what it takes. They're powerful, and if he is to be the next ruler, he needs power. Yeah, it's a pretty basic reason, but sometimes a basic reason or plot is all you need. I also can't stress it enough. The dialogue between Razor, Hal, and Kilowog is just super good. They still poke at each other, but are able to put it past themselves and do what is needed for the job. Aya's dialogue with them is also done well, despite it lacking the emotional touch due to her being an AI. How each character was used, I think, was also really well done. Despite Razor still essentially being a prisoner, he still wants to help the group deal with the current predicament so they can just go, and it's honestly amazing that all of them can put aside the difference between their lantern colors to work together on a common goal. Lastly, the remaining 2 characters for this episode are also pretty nice. Iolande is a respectable ruler, and it doesn't feel forced. The way she carries herself is very honorable, even if she does fall for Hal's weaker pickup line. And even when given the chance to get back at her assassin brother, she doesn't, and instead simply imprisons him. As for the general, he's definitely a red herring, but I'm also glad that he has a sense of honor. It would have been believable if he and the brother had been in cahoots the whole time, but I'm glad that wasn't the case, and instead he wanted to be king through the correct procedures. And when those would be violated, his decision to fight against his own bribed guards made me actually respect him a lot. All that arrogance from earlier, I can forgive because I easily just respect him for all of what he's done. Not just for helping save the day, but also for actually respecting his queen's strength and honor after she revealed herself as the Green Lantern for her planet. Overall, I give this episode an 8 out of 10. Some things could be better, like the weird passage of time that was super fast early on, and how I think Iolande should have just put the ring on herself rather than being told by Hal to do it, since it would add yet another layer of her own strength to the scene, rather than it be an action she was told to do. But yeah, that's this episode done, and hope you all enjoyed it. I know it's not my regular content, but it was fun coming back to it after so long of just not reviewing it. Expect it to come up maybe every now and again, and I'll see you all later.